Welcome to today's deep dive. So, if you've ever tried to wire audio across a sprawling sports bar, a massive building, or even just a really ambitious home theater, you know the exact nightmare we're getting into today.
Oh, yeah, the dreaded tangled cable mess.
Exactly. You end up with this degraded web of wires, and by the time the audio actually reaches the speakers, it sounds like it's coming through a tin can.
Right, because the longer your standard cable is, the more electrical interference you pick up along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just physics. You get that awful hum, or the signal just completely falls apart.
But today, we're looking at a piece of tech from an HDTV Supply product page that actually solves this exact nightmare. It's called the Intelix AVO-A4-F dual analog stereo audio balloon.
It's quite a mouthful.
It really is. But this is the hidden infrastructure that makes those massive commercial setups actually work.
Yeah, and the key word in that incredibly long name is balloon. It's actually a mashup of two words, balanced and unbalanced.
Okay, so what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, what this little device does is it takes standard unbalanced analog audio using its 4 RCA inputs, and it converts it into a balanced signal.
Right.
And that conversion allows it to travel over standard network cables, like Cat5e or Cat6.
Wait, but how does that actually protect the audio over a huge distance? Because, I mean, standard network cable isn't exactly a magical shield against interference.
No, it's not. It's pure math, actually.
Yeah.
Network cables have these twisted pairs of tiny copper wires inside them.
Okay.
The balloon takes your audio signal, splits it, and sends it down two of those wires, but... and here's the trick, it puts one of the signals completely out of phase with the other.
So it's essentially sending a mirror image of the sound.
Exactly. As that signal travels, let's say through the walls of a giant casino, it inevitably picks up all sorts of electrical noise.
Oh, sure, from all the machines and lights.
Right. But when it reaches the destination, the second balloon flips that out-of-phase signal back. And when it does that, it mathematically cancels out literally any electrical noise it picked up on the journey.
Wow. So it's not just like a marathon translator. It's almost like putting your audio in an armored car.
That is a great way to put it.
It translates the delicate signal into a balanced format, locks it inside that Cat5 cable, and external electrical noise literally can't touch it during the run.
Spot on. And because of that armored car approach, the distance it can cover is striking. This device pushes an analog signal up to 2,500 feet in either direction.
Wait, 2,500 feet? That is almost half a mile.
It is, and it's doing this without crushing the audio quality. The specs list it as handling 20 hertz all the way up to 20 kilohertz.
Which means it captures everything.
Literally everything. You're getting the deepest, chest-thumping bass of a stadium sound system all the way up to the sharpest cymbal crash without losing, any fidelity over that half-mile run.
That is wild.
Yeah.
But that explains a crucial detail I noticed in the fine print on the product page.
The catch.
Yeah, the catch. Since this whole trick relies on flipping the signal phase at the destination, you obviously can't just plug this into a regular speaker. The page explicitly notes you need 2 units to complete the circuit.
Yeah, you have to convert it back at the destination.
So at today's price of $122.55, which, by the way, is discounted from $136.16, you have to double that cost right out of the gate.
You do.
You're looking at a little over $240 just to get the system working. That feels like a really steep barrier for a single audio run, doesn't it?
Well, it sounds steep if you're just wiring your living room, but you really have to look at the broader ecosystem this exists in.
Okay, what do you mean?
HDTV Supply isn't a basic consumer shop. They specialize in massive commercial infrastructure. And they've been in business 25 years. They have a 96% 4 or 5-star rating across over 10,000 reviews.
Oh, wow, that's impressive.
Right. We're talking about environments using things like their Wolfpack modular matrix switchers. Those can link up to 160 TVs in a single venue.
Ah, so this really is for the big leagues.
Precisely. In commercial AV, redundancy and stability are literally worth their weight in gold. A black screen or, dead audio during the Super Bowl could bankrupt a sports bar's weekend.
Yeah, that would be a total disaster.
Exactly. So in that high-stakes world, spending a couple $100 on a pair of hardwired balloons isn't a frustrating catch at all. It's incredibly cheap insurance for guaranteed stability.
That makes total sense. Knowing about tools like the Intelix really does give you a new appreciation for the hidden professional infrastructure, keeping the audio pristine at your favorite venues.
It totally does, and it requires surprisingly elegant engineering to make it feel that invisible.
It really does. You don't see it, but it's the invisible backbone holding the whole experience together, which actually leaves you with a pretty fascinating thought to ponder. Well, in an era where consumer tech is absolutely obsessed with everything being seamless, wireless, and, floating in the cloud, isn't it wild that the absolute highest tier of reliability, the setups that businesses bet their entire livelihoods on, still fundamentally rely on physical copper network cables and clever little signal translators?
It really is. I mean, the ultimate standard for reliability still demands a physical connection.
Exactly. So the next time you're sitting in a massive venue listening to crystal clear audio, remember, you're probably not listening to wireless magic. You're listening to an armored car running half a mile through the walls, keeping that tangled nightmare at bay. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.